And I just don't understand how we've reached this point where you can't even, like, point out the absurdity.
No, Charlie. You're being disingenuous. No, you could perfectly say, hey, that's a pretty embarrassing snafu. That's a pretty embarrassing gaffe. You are making an insinuation from an obvious mistake that this guy now actually legitimately supports pedophiles. Do you not understand? How can you be this fucking stupid? I know that you've seen Asmongold's video. I doubt that you've seen my video. But can you not at least admit that you making the implication that he supports pedophiles off of a verbal gaffe is wrong? Asmongold was correct when he pointed out that Tim Walz had a gaffe that he's friends with school shooters. That was an obvious gaffe. We're not here saying that Tim Walz actually was friends with school shooters. That was a gaffe. Ted Cruz made a mistake. By the way, Ted Cruz's history on this is rock solid. His history on this is he hated the movie Cuties, by the way. Let me just reiterate that. Ted Cruz hated the movie Cuties so much, he wanted to bring Netflix in front of the committee so that they could go over it because he equated it to it being like child pornographic material. So I'm just saying, you can criticize the gap, be like, wow, that was a major blunder. Can you believe that Ted Cruz made a blunder like this? You went beyond that. You went beyond that. You made an insinuation that he is a pedophile. It's a Freudian slip, guys. It's a Freudian slip that he wants to defend pedophiles? Really? Because he disagrees with you on the release of the Epstein files and how it's to be released? That now he's a pedophile or supports pedophiles, or maybe it's a Freudian slip? No, it was a gaffe. It was a mistake. And I bet you he didn't think that he needed to correct it because he said, who the fuck would think that I actually meant that we should stop attacking pedophiles? Charlie, this, I don't know why this is your hill to die on. You made a bad video. You made a mistake. You were called out for it. Even Asmongold ruined your asshole. Didn't mean to, but he did. But what the fuck are we doing?
Of something so fucking preposterous like a politician saying, stop attacking pedophiles. It's crazy to me. But I saw people putting words in his mouth saying what he meant to say, stop defending pedophiles. But again, that doesn't fit with what he's actually talking about here in the full context of what's going on. So why is he even bringing up pedophiles in the first place? It's super fucking weird. That's all I was saying, and making fun of him for it. The same way I've made fun of other flubs and weird stuff from politicians.
Have you used those flubs and weird stuff to make the implication that they may actually be a pedophile or supporting pedophiles? No, I don't think that you have. I think that you have made fun of people for snafus, but it's your continuation past making fun of them for the flub. Man, can you believe that this guy's a member of the Senate and he made such a verbal snafu? You can make fun of him all day and night, brother. I'm not here to defend Ted Cruz. What I'm here to defend is the fact that you used an obvious verbal gaffe to make an insinuation that Ted Cruz is a pedophile or is defending pedophiles. It was obviously a mistake. That's obviously not what he meant. And if you asked him, Ted Cruz, hey, do you think that we should be defending pedophiles? Do you think that we should stop going after pedophiles? What do you think his answer would be? Do you think his answer would be, no, we need to leave pedophiles alone? No. Absolutely fucking not. And you know that. That's why you're getting shit for it.
Like Biden, when he talk about like kids rubbing his leg hairs and shit like that. But things have just changed so fucking drastically.
Biden rubbing with the kids rubbing his leg hairs. That wasn't a verbal gaffe. That wasn't like a one or two word miscommunication. Biden was so cognitively gone that he would just say entire sentences that made no fucking sense. Biden, you're literally, this is like a one or two word gaffe from Ted Cruz. Biden was talking about how he liked to have little kids rub his leg hair. And you are not smart enough to distinguish between the two. Biden admitting he likes little kids to rub his leg hair, and you're comparing that to a gaffe from Ted Cruz? Like that's a comparison? Are you fucking for real? Holy shit, man. Take some damn accountability for yourself. That's just embarrassing. Take some accountability for the things that you've said. You made a mistake. It's not the end of the world, by the way. You could have just said, you know what? I was a little too enthusiastic about it. I was a little too into the moment. I look back, I realized, I saw Asmongold's video. Yeah, that was kind of a dick thing to do. It was kind of bad faith. Do you know how many more people that you would have won over to yourself if you actually do that? If you actually did that? And the fact that you would do that after criticizing Netanyahu, who fucked up in sort of the same way, just like this completely tone deaf, lack of accountability sort of thing, it's just shocking to me.
It's a totally different ball game. But I'm gonna harp on Ted Cruz for a moment because I just don't understand the glaze. I don't know how he has.
It's not glaze.
Fucking hog riders.
No. Oh God, Charlie, no. Charlie, no. Charlie, no. It's not hog riders for Ted Cruz. No. Charlie, no. It's not dick riders for Ted Cruz. You fucked up. You did something wrong. People are criticizing you, brother, because you did something wrong. What you did was bad. Not you criticizing pedophiles. That wasn't the thing that you did that was bad. In fact, you could go a little harder on pedophiles. You could have gone a little bit harder on the actual pedophiles. No, what you did was you took an obvious verbal gaffe that anyone looking at it could say that that was an obvious verbal gaffe. You then expanded upon that to say, well, no, what he actually meant was, and then it was taken to this like ludicrous degree that he actually meant what his gaffe was intending, that he wants to stop people from attacking pedophiles. No, he does not. If you asked, listen, Joe Biden talking about corn pop and rubbing his leg hairs, if he were lucid, he'd be like, oh yeah, that story happened. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Ted Cruz, if you asked him point blank, do you support pedophiles? Do you support defending pedophiles? He would say no, and then he'd go into like a detailed answer about why. And he'd go into his history and career of fighting against pedophiles as a prosecutor. He would go on and on about his accolades, how he wanted to bring he wanted to bring Netflix and the creator of Cuties in before a House committee. He really wanted to go after them in that major way. He wanted to bring them before the Senate. Like, no, he would not say that. You did something wrong. You did something wrong by making an implication that was greater than what was there. The guy made a verbal mistake. He didn't take the time to correct it because he probably, in the moment, didn't even realize it. Or if he did, he's like, I'm not going to stop my flow because, he probably thought, he goes, there's no one who's going to be stupid enough. There's no one who's going to be stupid enough to think I actually meant that I want to defend pedophiles. But Ted Cruz didn't anticipate super sleuth, Moist Critical. Charles White is on the case. Hey guys, Moist Critical here. Yeah, I looked into Ted Cruz. And yeah, it may have been a verbal gaffe, but I still think that he was serious and that he really wants to defend pedophiles. My evidence of that is his voting record on the Epstein files. Yeah, there were things that were wrong with the initial release of the Epstein files. The Democrats didn't really think that much into it. They just sort of did it as a publicity stunt and were going to release child pornographic material. But yeah, no, he voted no on that. It's like there may be other reasons for him to vote no on a bill like that. Who knows what the Democrats put in there? There are many different reasons why you would vote no. The fact of the matter is, you making those suppositions and those declarations, brother, that's not good. You should take accountability.
I do not get the pedophiles that will defend.
Oh, brother, the pedophiles. I bet you he was so proud of himself when he came up with that. I bet you he was so proud of himself when he came up. Charlie, I've said it before, but if anyone should have sympathy for Ted Cruz making a verbal gaffe, it's you. Charlie, I'm not going to play the clip again. I've played it before in multiple videos. But you are on record. We have the video of you affirming that 9-year-old kids should be able to transition. That they should be able to go down the assembly line of being physically and chemically castrated. That they should be able to affirm themselves at 9 or 16 into the transgender ideology. You have said that. That to me is 1,000 times worse than what Ted Cruz said. And yet, you're not giving him any goodwill. In fact, you're going so far as to call the people who support Ted Cruz, but people aren't really supporting Ted Cruz as much as they're lambasting you for your bad behavior. You're calling them pedophiles. Do you not understand how fucking reckless and stupid that is? Do you not realize that? How absolutely egregious, all because you're too arrogant to admit when you were fucking wrong. Yes, you were right about him making a gaffe. And you can make fun of him for making a gaffe. Like, look at this illiterate retard. But you're making a greater leap that based on that gaffe, he actually believes it. Imagine if we did that with Tim Walz. Oh, okay, guys, Tim Walz is actually friends with school shooters, and I think we can take that away and say that, you know, this guy is a danger to society because, we should start calling Tim Walz fans the walls. I don't even. I'm not that quick on the fly, but like if we started calling Tim Walz fans like school shooters, like that's just ridiculous. And you, as a content creator, and you as a person who I imagine has an above average IQ, you should be able to discern this. I shouldn't have to explain it to you, but I do. And that's embarrassing.
Defend him tooth and nail when he himself has said that the reason he got into Congress 13 years ago is to defend the interests of Israel.
I came into Congress 13 years ago
Yes.
with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that.
So you are an American politician whose sole purpose...
Like, Charlie, that is a legitimate criticism. That is a legitimate, real criticism. That is valid. That's valid. Your other line of attack was not. Do you see the difference?
for being here is to defend the interests of a foreign nation here, domestically. I just don't know how that's not treasonous. I'm just going to say it. I don't get how that is not just like full-blown treason.
You're right. Charlie, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. Welcome to the party, pal. That is a legitimate grievance, criticism, and analysis. So I know you know how to do it. The other one was not. It's not that we're dick riding Ted Cruz. We're just holding you to account, holding you to a standard, and you don't like it. You don't like accountability. I know that. But regardless of if you like accountability or not, accountability arrives all the same.
I saw quite a few takes when it came out about Israel paying influencers for like positive PR and stuff, and people were tossing the word treason around in regards to that. This is that times 50. I don't know how this one gets a pass. I don't get how that gets a pass. He is supposed to represent the state of...
That doesn't get a pass. It shouldn't. You're right. You're right. That should not get a pass. Not at all. You're right. But at the same time, we were talking about that other comment. We were talking about the other one. That, what you did was unacceptable. This, what you did, is perfectly fine. Because it's a legitimate criticism, and your analysis is correct. It is absolutely correct.
Of Texas, you would think as an American politician, you would be prioritizing the interests of the nation that you're representing. But instead, he is openly saying that he got into this for the sole reason of supporting a foreign nation here. Now, again, I'm not the most politically savvy guy on the planet. I'm a fucking Neanderthal. I get that. I am a Cro-Magnon man when it comes to this. But I just don't understand. I cannot wrap my head around how people will support that. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. He's also never there anytime Texas needs him, like in the event of like tragedies and shit, like with the flood, the freeze from quite a few years back. He always seems to be on vacation. Like, it's just, it's...
So, like, this is devolving into something else altogether. It's a revelation that Charlie really, really, really just doesn't like Ted Cruz, which I think is perfectly fine. But, like, brother, you not liking Ted Cruz has nothing to do with your initial statement. You went too hard. You went too hard on him, not because I think that Ted Cruz is great, but because of the implication of what his gaffe, his obvious gaffe, meant. It would be like me taking your interview or your debate with Sneeko and coming away with the conclusion that you like to sexualize little kids because you think that 9-year-olds or 16-year-olds should be able to transition. No, does that make sense? No. Because you're not sexually interested in kids. I know that. But it's that sort of ridiculous leap that has people looking at you going, that's not fair.
I'll stop harping on Ted Cruz in particular. I'm just fucking blabbering here. It's 4 a.m. Obviously, it's another insomnia-fueled evening, so I can't help but just blabber. But my God, it's just crazy.
Well, Charlie, you have... I'll just be honest, Charlie. You have a major ego problem. You have a profound lack of accountability. You are not somebody that is very good at taking constructive criticism. You're just not. When you are confronted with, not just myself, because you can write me off, oh, this guy's a small content creator, this guy doesn't like me, whatever. But even Asmongold called you out. He didn't know he was calling you out, but he absolutely did. But I think Asmongold and myself would both agree with you on your take on Israel. And your take on Ted Cruz defending Israel in that way and saying, well, I got into politics to defend Israel. Brother, that is disqualifying. That is treason. You were saying that first and foremost on your mind is a foreign nation, not the people of the United States, not American citizens. Like, that is shocking. Yes. You are correct there, sir. But I think that you may have let your personal animus go a little too far You were criticized for it. You don't like being criticized. You don't like taking accountability. So you lash out and you called the people criticizing you pedophiles. Now, I'm sure that you were really proud of yourself when you thought that up, but that was fucking retarded, and you should do better. Anyway, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel. It's been an incredible, incredible journey. I hope that you guys know how much I care about you. And what I will say is God bless you. God be with you. And on that note, I will bid you guys a good evening. I will